This is Build Woodward, presented by Dickies.
When I started working at Woodward, it was '95, and it was a tennis court with 12-foot tall fences all the way around it. It basically just looked like this cage. Jay Muron was here as a BMX pro and instructor, and he actually taught me probably the first things about ramp building. And we built like some of the first ramps in the actual cage. It's kind of wild, you know, that was built for a B3 contest way back in the day.
ESPN used to do a qualifying series of events leading up to the X Games called B3. B3 actually meant bikes, boards, blades, back when rollerblading was in the X Games. And so at the time, ESPN said, hey, we want to do a B3 event at Woodward, but we got to build a new park course that would work for skate and BMX. Back before concrete was the standard, back when BMX was a ton of just rollers and jump boxes and big wood ramps.
I helped design a lot of it. I helped build it. It was kind of like way ahead of its time. When I was an instructor, it was the funnest place to go. It lasting 20 years alone, just with it being wood, it's kind of almost unheard of.
Obviously, time had taken its toll. We'd built a ton of new stuff since then, and it got to the point where it needed so much maintenance just to keep the cage safe so that, you know, there weren't exposed screws and ramps weren't collapsing. And so I had been wanting to build a concrete flow park for years. So I was really excited when we got the green light to build the new cage. The design, it was basically myself and Nate Wessel. We kind of sat down one day and we talked about all of our favorite skate parks around the world. And so we kind of just found little bits and pieces. We didn't replicate anything, it was more just inspiration. So eventually we decided we were going to go with Team Payne for the build.
We got to bring Team Payne in. I got to work side by side with them on the design, and you know, first step was just talk about the kind of ideas that we had for the park and what we wanted to see.
It was funny because we gave them our inspiration, all the parks that we liked, and the first design that they came back with was really, really good.
The first design I saw from them just blew my mind. I was like, this is exactly what Woodward needs.
Took a ton of fine-tuning. Nate and I ended up kind of massaging that a lot. We had to trim a little bit just to keep it within our budget, but Team Payne did a really killer job. The first thing that we had to do to get ready for the cage was get rid of the old cage. And normally, like, just getting rid of a skate park is not really that big of a deal, but this thing was huge.
It's funny, you know, as we're going through the process of the design, it's like 50, 60 degree weather. And like, okay, finalize the design, getting out here. Of course, it's just solid snow and horrible weather. Anything can happen in Pennsylvania. It's just, that's the way it is. The demolition of the cage was, it was sad for me, but it has to be torn apart. It's getting dangerous for people to ride it.
So that was a mission in itself, just to get rid of the old cage. It's just a huge mess of old wood, old skate light.
It was really awesome, like, seeing the evolution of it, because I got to be a part of all of it, all the way till the destruction. And it's very rare that you get to build something and you also get to tear it down. I'm sitting there smashing the thing with a skid steer going like, oh man, I can't believe we're doing this, but wow, it's gonna be really awesome when that new park is here. The hardest thing that we deal with is like, hey, camp is this date, it's opening this date, so you have 8 weeks to do this park.
Next time on Build Woodward, presented by Dickies. We're headed back down to Mexico to check on the progress of Woodward Riviera Maya. There we'll find Nate, who's hard at work on one of the most unique sections of the facility, the pump track.